What if I told you a teenage girl carrying mysterious swords helped end one of the longest wars in history? For over 100 years, England and France fought a brutal conflict that seemed impossible to stop. Entire generations lived and died during the war. France was losing territory, cities were falling, and many believed the kingdom was on the verge of collapse. Then a teenage peasant girl appeared claiming she had been chosen to save France. And according to legend, a mysterious sword would become part of her incredible story. For much of the 1400s, France seemed doomed. The 100 Years' War had exhausted the country. English armies controlled large areas of French land, and French morale was at an all-time low. Many people believed England would eventually win. Then came Joan of Arc. She was not a noblewoman or an experienced soldier. She was a farmer's daughter from a small village who claimed she received visions telling her that France could still be saved. At first, few people took her seriously, but France was desperate enough to listen. Eventually, Joan gained an audience with the future King Charles VII. After convincing him of her sincerity, she was given armor, a horse, and permission to accompany French forces. That is when one of history's most famous legends began. According to historical accounts, Joan told soldiers to search beneath the altar of the Church of St. Catherine de Fierbois. There they reportedly discovered an old sword hidden behind the church altar. The blade was said to contain several engraved crosses and showed signs of great age. To many people, the discovery seemed miraculous. How could Joan have known where it was? News of the sword spread quickly throughout France. Whether the story was completely true or partly exaggerated over time, it gave people something they desperately needed: hope. The sword became more than a weapon. It became a symbol that Joan had been chosen for a greater purpose. And during times of war, symbols can be incredibly powerful. In 1429, Joan joined French forces attempting to break the English Siege of Orléans. The city was one of the most important positions in France. If it fell, English victory would become far more likely. Against expectations, French forces launched a series of aggressive attacks and forced the English to retreat. The victory shocked Europe. For years, France had been losing. Now, they were winning. More victories followed, and confidence spread throughout the kingdom. French armies regained territory, and support for Charles VII continued to grow. Eventually, Charles was crowned King of France at Reims, a major turning point in the war. Joan would not live to see the final victory. In 1430, she was captured by enemy forces and later handed over to English authorities. After a controversial trial, she was executed in 1431 at just 19 years old, but her legacy endured. The momentum she helped create continued long after her death. Over the following decades, France steadily pushed English forces out of the country. By 1453, the 100 Years' War was effectively over. Today, historians still debate the mystery of Joan's sword, but whether it was legendary or ordinary, its real power came from what it represented, because sometimes belief can be just as powerful as any weapon. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating stories from history.